You know, America is becoming a fascist state because of the actions of people in a position of authority. It's sad, but unfortunately, it's true. I sit here and I watch YouTube, and I watch all the stuff on YouTube and all the horrible actions by police and lawmakers and other public officials that people video and put on YouTube. And I know that all police officers aren't bad, but it don't take many bad ones to even make the good ones look bad. I've been through some pretty bad stuff in my time, and I've actually had to run the police out of my house when I come home one day, and my landlord was in my house with the police, and they were claiming that I had a bunch of stolen stuff in my house. I just purchased a large pallet of computers, laptops off of eBay. I told him, I said, first of all, get the serial numbers you want, but only one of you is staying in my house to do that. The rest of you are getting out of my house right now. And they know me well enough that they got out of my house because I threw them out physically after I roughed them up pretty good. So I don't play that. And I'll tell you this straight up. Never let a police officer of any type enter your home unless they have a warrant, and that's not a warrant for somebody, that's a search warrant for your home. If they come in your house, throw them out. Don't ask them to leave. Physically grab them and put them out of your home. In Tennessee, a police officer is not even allowed to go on your porch. They're allowed to come, knock on the door, then step back off the porch until you answer the door. A lot of other states are that way, but a lot of police officers think that they are totalitarian dictators that can do whatever they want because they wear a badge and they have a gun, and that they can threaten, manipulate, lie, cheat, and abuse their way in to your life and into your home, into searching anything that you own. They just think, not all, but a lot of officers think that they are the ultimate authority, and most of them believe that they're above the law. That's why you see them driving around with no seat belts and doing all the things that they'll arrest you for because they're above the law. Anyway, we definitely have a problem, and the problem is that police have no accountability in most places, and a lot of places that have internal affairs and all that, that's not accountability. I think that our lawmakers should make laws for the guidelines for police departments. That way it's a universal application that every police department everywhere has to abide by them rules, and that the accountability, if a police officer does something that's completely illegal, that rulemaking ought to make it so that police officer has shown that they do not have the mental capacity to be a law enforcement officer, and they should be terminated immediately. Terminated, not reprimanded, not given time off, not given a second chance, because that is just like a child molester. There's a mental defect in their mind that makes it so that they cannot stop doing it. That is the problem. We need a set of laws to govern the people that set the laws. Police departments make up their own rules and do their own policing of themselves, and that is not working. That's why police officers do not follow the Constitution, do not uphold the Constitution, because they have no fear. There's no accountability. Yeah, so you can sue them, and 5-6 years later, you can get some money. Whoopee, that ain't nothing. That is nothing. That has done nothing that has cost the taxpayers. You paid the money to yourself. If you're paying a lot of taxes every year, you're paying yourself. You paid in taxes for 5 years, you get your tax money back. Whoopee. If you're so stupid to think that that's going to solve the problem, then you need to stay at home and never go nowhere, because that ain't going to solve the problem. Winning money in a lawsuit costs the taxpayers money. If you sue and the police officer has to pay it out of their pocket, that's a whole different story. But most police officers, which this law should be changed to, has immunity, like they're sovereign citizens, which basically they are, because they're the police. There should be no such thing as a sovereign citizen. There should be no such thing as anybody above the law. There should be no such thing as a politician thinking that they're the boss. No, we are the boss. The people. This country is the people. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, everything. We, the people. In order to make a more perfect union, do what we're doing. And when a government official, when a politician thinks, well, no, you are our spokesman. You don't get up there and do anything. You're supposed to be doing it for us. You're supposed to be asking the public what they want to do, what we want you to do. And yes, there's not going to be an agreement even with us. There's going to be certain things, but you're going to have to go with what the majority of the population wants. That's what this country is based on. That's what this country has gotten away from, and that's why this country has turned into the nightmare that it is now. It's sad, pathetic, and just downright embarrassing. I'm at the point now where I don't even want people to know that I'm a veteran, that I served my country. I gave years of my life to serve this country and the military, to protect it from the exact thing that's happening right now. This would have never happened in the 60s and 70s, and maybe not even the beginning of the 80s. And we got so many whiny ass, bleeding heart liberals out there that think that, oh my God, we have to say sorry to everybody. Listen, I don't think that America should apologize for anything. I don't think that we as a nation have to apologize to any one group for nothing. Things happened in the past, yes, but it's like slavery. It wasn't us that put them people into slavery. Yes, some people bought them and kept them into slavery, but the majority of slaves were not the majority of whatever I'm talking about. I got into rambling. Sorry. The majority of blacks in the slavery times were free men in the North. They weren't slaves in the South. They were free men in the North. And the Irish were slaves for 1,000 years. You never hear a single Irishman saying anything about it, do you? Nothing, ever. The Irish were slaves to the British for 1,000 years. 1,000. And we had slavery in this country for what? I don't know. I don't remember. Neither should they, because there ain't nobody alive today that was ever a slave. Nobody. Nobody alive today can say that I was a slave. Nobody. Nobody that's living in this United States can can say that I was a slave. Nobody. Get over it. And it wasn't even involved you. If you went around saying, we were slaves, no you weren't. Somebody from your past, somebody in your family from the past might have been, but it had no effect on you. I'm tired of all this stuff. Always somebody whining about, oh, I've been wronged. Who cares? Grow up, get a job, be a man. Lord, I got plenty of black friends, good people, good men, good women, very nice. And they see it the same way I do. If you want something, work for it. This country owes nobody nothing. We give you all that you can do. We give you the ability, the freedom to go out and work, the freedom to go out and make yourself better. Unless you're driving, and you get harassed by the police, then you might lose that freedom. But that's another problem. We have the largest prison population on the planet. And it's not necessarily because we have a lot of bad people. Of course, this country was founded on people that were running away from something. Running away from oppression of I think about it. Our forefathers left England for freedom of religion. And now our same country that was founded on the basis of freedom of religion is doing everything within its power to take away religious freedoms, to take away the freedom to have religious, the Ten Commandments in a courthouse or in a courtroom or in the city hall, to fly a flag. What's the big deal about flying a flag? This is crazy. The world has gone crazy. We took religion out of schools. I guess it's been about 20 years, and look what's happened. Our children are going to school and they're not being taught morals and values to value human life. So they're walking into schools and they're walking into stores and they're going to McDonald's and they're going to post offices and they're shooting each other. And they're whining about bullying. Bullying's been around for a long time. But now that they've taken religion out of schools, bullying's a problem because people don't realize, because they don't have the moral fabric to understand that it's not a big deal. That if you just stand up to a bully, blah blah blah, it's over. Even if you have to get into a fight, sometimes that's what it takes to straighten out somebody. A bully is somebody that usually they're more messed up than you are. Most bullies are mentally challenged individuals that think they have something to prove that they're better than you. And most of the time they're not, and most of the time they can't be, and 90% of the time they ain't even that tough. But I wanted to try this out. I'll be more specific later. This is my first time trying to post anything on YouTube, but I just want to try this out and see how it goes and see if anybody likes what I got to say. And then when I come back, then if I get enough likes, I'll do this again, but then I'll do it with facts. I'll have facts. I love facts. I like taking the time to research things, put stuff in perspective, and show the factual basis to my decision making and my opinion or biases, as some people might claim, because an opinion is a biased explanation of a person's interpretation of what they're seeing, and that's just the truth. Anybody that has an opinion on something, the opinion is always biased because they're seeing it in their own perspective and not everybody's. Rarely do you ever find somebody that will state an opinion based on facts from a whole bunch of different people. No, everybody puts in my biased opinion, because usually if you're making if you're making a statement against something or an opinion against something, most of the time you're doing it because you do have a bias against it. So, you can say no, 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 blah, 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 blah. But if you honestly critique yourself, you will see and you will have to admit that you honestly are biased in the situation that you decide to speak up against. And that's what I'm doing. I'm admitting that my opinion that I'm stating right now is biased. Sorry. But yeah, YouTube, I watch this stuff, and I'll be honest, I don't much care for police. I've had my problems with police in the past. I had a police officer jerk my child off of a bicycle and tried to tell me the bicycle was stolen when I knew I bought the bicycle at Kmart at the time, and I beat the hell out of that cop because he put his hands on my kid, and my kid was just 4 years old. So no, don't put I don't care who you are, if your child is young and somebody puts their hands on your kid, you got to do your job. You got to handle that person. Nobody should ever disrespect your children. The only person that has that right is you. The only person that ever has a right to put their hands on your child is you or your mama. Yeah. Don't argue with her because she'll smack you too. At least a good mama will. And all these idiots running around saying you can't spank your kids. That's what's another thing wrong with this country. Children have no discipline. They think they can run around and do what they want to. We watched the most violent cartoons in the history of the planet when I was young. Warner Brothers made the Coyote and the Roadrunner and Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd was some very violent stuff. But you never hear nobody from my generation running around with a shotgun shooting people in the face because we think we'll just blow their bill around, they'll be able to turn it back around and then keep running. No, it didn't happen. The world is a crazy place because we have made it that way because of all these bleeding heart liberals and the NAACP and what's the other one? The lawyer group. Lord. What's the name? Oh God. You know, the one that sued to get religion out of the schools. Oh Lord. I tell you, that just shows you I'm getting old and forgetful. Wait a minute. Civil rights law groups. I'm Googling it, sorry. On my phone. My tablet's busy taking care of me. Oh Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord. Huh. HG.org, that's not it. ACLU, that's it. The American Civil Liberties Union. Now, if that ain't an oxymoron, I'll kiss your ass, because they're not after American civil liberties, they're after giving civil rights to certain individuals and not for everybody. because anybody that would take and make it so that you can't have religion in schools that goes against my principles, they're not doing it for Americans, because there's more Christians in America than there ever will be atheists. Ever. And besides, the whole concept of atheist to me is redundant, because to deny something, you have to believe in it. Wrong? If I'm wrong, let me know. If you think I'm wrong, that you don't have to believe in something to deny it, well, if you don't, then, if you don't believe in it, then why even say anything about it? Why would you have to deny it? If you don't believe in it, you don't have to say anything, because you don't believe in it. But all these people saying they don't believe in God and make a big argument about it, they have to believe in it, or they wouldn't be making such a big argument about it. That's because God is chastising them and their souls and their hearts, and they're fighting and rebelling against God. But God always triumphs in the end, always. But I'm not trying to get on religion, but yeah, the American Civil Liberties Union, yeah, that's a joke. I used to actually believe in that group, and then they started doing all this crazy stuff. I would make fun of it by changing the acronym to something else, but I'll leave it alone. But for now, I'm just going to post this and see if anybody likes my rambling. Thank you.